Well, our next guest is here to tell us anything is possible, even when you're disabled. We welcome paleontology specialist AZA DERMAN here with us, and good to have you.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So you have been around the world doing some great work, and you're right from our area.
Yes, I am. I am from Riverdale, and so was born in a tiny little apartment called 12H on 259th Street, and ended up going to college in Mount St. Vincent for ancient history, and knew that I wanted to be some sort of paleontologist, archaeologist since I was 11. And then after I lost my father, I was sort of holding him in my arms, and I thought to myself, I'm going to do what I really want because life is short. So I started studying at Hunter College, CUNY Hunter. I was studying archaeological anthropology, and ran into a really bad spinal injury that made me stop for quite a bit of time. And then somewhere along the way I decided, no, you know what, I'm not going to stop. People are just going to have to deal with the fact that I can't do what everyone else can physically, but mentally, I'm capable of the same knowledge that everyone else is.
And so talk about your work. Where have you been and what you've been doing?
Well, I've done a lot of, I would say, strange things, maybe. Definitely strange. I started out digging up Viking remains in Sweden. I then went to Cyprus to do a lot of forensic work, and I was helping people that are being identified through the Cyprus Missing Persons Program. I did a lot of pathology studies and post-excavational studies there, and then I ended up this past summer in Montana digging up T-Rex and doing bone maps. So that's what I've been doing lately. I now work part-time at a mineral gallery, and I'm their paleontology specialist. So I deal with selling dinosaurs as well as digging them up.
And that's a pretty awesome task to be doing, but talk to us about this because you have a message, and you really want the message to get out there with all the great work that you've done and all the work that you're continuing to do. You want the message to go out there to the public, especially when it deals with people with disabilities.
Yes, I want people to know that even if you are disabled, you can still do Indiana Jones things and be Indiana Jones. People have to deal with your limitations, and you have to embrace them. I can't lift things. I can't do the heavy shovel work. There's a lot of stuff I can't do. As a matter of fact, if you see some of the photos I've submitted here, my photos are, you know, I'm sitting, I'm crouched. You don't see me swinging a pickaxe. I'm not capable of it. I've had severe spinal surgery. But
is this a look at your spine here?
This is my spinal surgery. That is correct.
Okay.
And despite that, I still get to dig a ditch, get in the ditch, and pull out dinosaurs. And you can do it. It can be done. There are lots of places that can help you. The Explorers Club is one of those places. They have a student explorer membership program for 50 bucks. You can join, you know. All you have to do is have the passion for it. You can go to the New York Paleontological Society. You don't have to spend a dime. You go to the Museum of Natural History every third Sunday. You know, you get good lectures. They have field trips. So if you want to do it, you can do it, and you don't need anything fancy.
Now, how tough of a sell is this to talk, you know, to sell yourself? Listen, say, I'm able to do this, but there's just certain things that I can't do when you're going to different places and you're trying to, you know, work on digs and things of that nature. How tough of a sell is it to people?
It is a tough sell. You have to be ready to fight for yourself, and I'm readily my own advocate in many, many different areas. It's tough with team leaders because they look at you and go, oh, wait, you have to, you know, you can't dig as fast. Oh, wait, well, if I have you on my camp and you get hurt, am I liable? Oh, wait, you have to sign a medical release. You have to do this, you have to do that. But once you connect to them as a person, which is what's important, you connect to them as a person, you say, look, obviously you're here because you love this. You've been wanting to do this since you were 9. So have I. The fact that I have a reconstructed spinal column shouldn't stop me or stop you from acknowledging that I can do this. And you start, you know, you let people know your limitations. You have to be outspoken. You have to say, no, I'm sorry, I can't lift that bucket. Empty some of the soil and I'll lift it for you. No, I'm sorry, I can't sift all that soil. I can sift some of it. But when I see what you want, I know what you want. I've been trained in bone fragment identification. I have the same training as you do. Physically, I'm limited, but that doesn't mean I can't prospect, right? That doesn't mean my eyes are limited, you know? So it's a tough sell, but if you love something, you have to get in there and do it.
Absolutely. So, with all the good work that you've done, there's got to be something on the table you say, I really wish I could do this. What would that be?
Yes. I really, really wish that I could go down to the cradle of human civilization in Olduvai Gorge and do some work where they dug up Lucy. That has been the bucket list thing. And conditions there are so rough. I know when I go there, I'm gonna have to take like every walking implement I have. I'm gonna have to take canes and pain pills and whatever, but I don't care. As long as I'm in the ditch digging up early humans, honestly, you know, I don't care, but that is my dream, to dig where the Leakeys were excavating.
Where did this fascination come from?
Okay, when I was little, I had the chance to live in Turkey for a little bit, and I saw a lot of different ruins there, and I was fascinated. So when I came back to the United States, I started digging holes in different places. Mind you, the building managers were not happy about this because I was digging holes in their grass. But I ended up finding bones, and I was so excited. I knew I wanted to do this for the rest of my life. I brought them home. My mom didn't argue with me. She was like, just clean them. So I cleaned them, I bagged them, I was all excited. And then a couple of days later, we had a knock on our door from a neighbor that wanted their dog back. So that was my first fascination, and I knew from then that I wanted to do this with my life. You know, this was my calling, my path.
AZA DERMAN is a paleontology specialist at the AZA Gallery of Gems, and I want to talk a little bit about the 9/11 remains discovery.
Yes.
You've had some great discovery there.
I did. That was my first job with my anthropology background, was to go and retrieve human remains from the rubble in 9/11, and that was what we were charged with doing. There were a bunch of us that were students at the time, and we were charged with separating bones from rocks, handing them over to the medical examiner's department, getting them DNA tests, getting them photographed, because it was treated in essence as the largest crime scene in New York history. So those of us that had forensic training were forensic technicians. So I was a forensic technician for that program for quite some time, and that was a particularly physically rough assignment where I had to tell them, look, I'm on a cane. There's some places where I can't bend down like that. I have to take breaks a little more frequently. I can't lift that. I can't do that. But in the end, I was involved in getting a lot of the remains of a lot of people's loved ones out from the rubble that are now actually interred in the monument.
So when we talk about the physical challenge of it, talk to me about the emotional challenge, because this is the most devastating hit that New York has taken, and not only New York, but literally across the United States, something that we will remember forever. How much of an emotional hit was that for you, dealing with these remains for 9/11?
It was tremendously emotionally difficult, because usually when I deal with remains, they're not local, they're older, I can step back and be objective about where they come from, who they are, et cetera, et cetera. But when it's in your own backyard and you start to think that you saw this disaster on television, some of your friends saw it in person from rooftops, it really does hit you that now you're charged with this mission to bring people's loved ones back to them. And it becomes a tremendous burden, because you know, I got into this thinking I was going to dig up ancient civilizations. I had no idea that I would be called in my own city to retrieve human beings from wreckage in my own city. And I mean, I was definitely honored and felt good about doing it, but it was tremendously emotionally taxing, because I would close my eyes at night and see the things in my sleep that I saw during the day in the field. So it was difficult, but it was worth it though. I'd do it again. I hope I never have to do it again on that scale, but yeah, I mean, I was honored to participate.
Well, certainly we talk about first responders, but certainly we want to give you a lot of credit for helping to bring closure to a lot of the victims and the families who've been affected by 9/11, and certainly for coming by and sharing your story. You got to come back and share more.
Oh, absolutely.
When
share
you do more,
you
bring
like.
some
I will
pictures.
bring some pictures. I'm happy to help if anyone wants to contact me to find out where to bring their kids, where to go themselves to learn about this stuff, how to go on digs. I'm very happy to help. You guys
give
have
the
all my
information. So I know we put it on the bottom of the screen, but give it out loud so that way people can catch
so
it.
my email, you can reach me at aza@astrogallery.com. That is my email address. You can reach me there. You can send me any inquiries that you want to send me about dig sites, where to go, what museum programs, so you can come by, visit the gallery. We have a section where we also teach kids about this kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm happy to help. If you need, you know, disability resources, I know some good advocates, and I know some good bit about disability law. So I'm happy to help in any way I can.
AZA DERMAN, representing the Bronx in a major way. Thank you so much for coming and sharing with us.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here.
Oh, got to have you back. All right. And talk about repping the Bronx. Let's not just talk about repping the Bronx, but how about repping your block? We'll explain a little bit more. Don't go anywhere. We'll come right back right after these messages.